there is a time frame where I believe that the sector we are in as exports, and that is the bedding sector, we will be the largest exporters from Pakistan. The negativity about me is that I'm over-optimist. So that is an issue. मुझे हमेशा ये नज़र आ रहा होता है कि things are good. There's always a potential in things. It's how and who I am. I was born in Karachi. Catholic school, St. Patrick's. I was not into studying at all. We came from a business background. I knew exactly, what my future is going to be. तो पढ़ाई पे focus बिल्कुल भी नहीं था पहले. I remember that school days में after school or after college, I used to come to the factory because I used to enjoy that environment a lot. My parents decided कि कुछ तो करना होगा, so they thought that I need to get an exposure, and then I went to the US, and then I started to realize कि अगर दुनिया में आगे बढ़ना है तो कुछ पढ़ना पड़ेगा. So I did my bachelor's there, I did my master's there in business and finance, and then came back and joined family business right from the day one. We have this rule that we start from scratch. I have worked inside the factory for 18-19 years. My grandfather's name is Kareem, so Kar comes from that. Amna is my grandmother's name, it makes it Kar. My ancestors or my grandfather, they moved from Gujarat to Karachi at the time of partition, and we started in two businesses, soft drink business and textile business right after that. So we started with textile business in 1951. 1985 we split, and then my father and his brothers, we bought Adamji Industries, which is now called AlKaram Textile Mills. We had a very slow and a humble start again. So what we did, we bought a small factory inside, and we had no exports. So one of my cousins decided that we need to have exports, and so we had. I remember that from college I used to go to the factory. We didn't know how to do exports. वहाँ पे हम सिर्फ processing करते थे fabric की. We didn't have any stitching units. We had one agent employed in Holland, and she came down, and then I used to take her around in a very small car which I had to New Karachi and site areas and look for industrial stitching units. और जो बड़े exporters थे, उनकी factories में हम रात को stitch करवाते थे fabric और वापस लेकर आते थे सुबह. So it was interesting, and I was involved from those days. So I understood how business was conducted. It's far more a professional organization from a one-man owner-driven business, what it used to be. Let's say 20 years ago, and this has transformed more so in the last 10 years. When you have a vision, I want to be that size and that, then you have to start having the right professionals, the right systems. You cannot just control the nitty-gritties by yourself. Then you're doing just this much of work and you're not growing. From being owner-driven to a professional, it was a task for me as well. I had to transform myself first for the company's culture to change. I had to read a little bit, I had to attend seminars, and then of course digital learning is the best these days. So I had to buy in first, and that was the most challenging. पहले मेरी belief होगी तो फिर then I can change the company. And some of the professionals as well who were here for a very long time. ये challenges अभी भी आते हैं. You have to keep learning every single day. I've seen some companies which have grown drastically well and have done tremendously well in the last few years. The values are very strong. The values of how they work, the values of how they deal with employees, the value what they promise and deliver, and the values about overall sustainability, which is a key target or key task these days as far as this kind of business is concerned. We actually rolled out our values again about 10 years ago. We call them V8. We have 8 strong values, and all our employees are supposed to know that. So first of all, we deliver what we promise. Honesty is the basic value which we pursue in our company, as individuals, as company, as a name, as employees. And that reflects right down to our product. Especially when we are dealing with a lot of retailers internationally, sustainability is the key of doing business. So, water recycling is the key. Power, हम कितना power use कर रहे होते हैं, हमारे footprints, carbon footprints क्या हैं, all these things are measured and taken into account when you're dealing with good retailers or big retailers. We are registered Fair Trade. Fair Trade is an organization where when we export, a retailer will contribute a little bit towards the units where that product is made for the betterment of those employees. At the end of the day, मैं जितनी भी बातें कर लूँ, labor ने काम करना होता है, and those are the people who make the actual product. You have to take care of them. That's part of how we take care of our employees or the workers or the co-workers. Sustainability from environment perspective, greenery is there. If you come to our factory or this complex, you will see, how we preserve our trees. In about 7 to 8 months, we will be a complete green factory. Sustainability mein, how we treat our water. What are the raw materials we use? That has now become the key as far as the sustainability is concerned. Recycle polyester, recycle cotton, how we have substitutes of cotton going forward, because cotton consumes a lot of water, and Pakistan will have a lot of issues going forward with water. We realize that exports is going to be the backbone of the country. Economy ka perspective hai, if it's going to support exports, I think this business is going to grow. There are very few exporters left in this category, and we are one of the top ones, and we are going to grow. There was a time, if you go 20 years back, there must have been 200 bedding exporters from Pakistan. As a country, we got a little uncompetitive. हमें जो problem आ रहा था वो था our dollar value or dollar rupee parity was a little overvalued. Cost of doing business in Pakistan, may it be energy cost or other costs, was far more than our competitors. और ये सारे issues जो आते हैं वो ज़्यादा आते हैं export business में, because then you're competing other countries like India's and China's, whose government go out and support their exports far more than we used to. I think it has changed in the last few months, especially because this new government who has come in, they realize that if they need to have some kind of balance of payment, exports is the key. For 10 years, I think we did not have much support as far as the dollar was concerned, or rebates, or government was not helping us. So what happened at the same time, India was being helped by their government, China was being helped, Bangladesh was being helped. So to survive, we became more competitive and efficient. And I think now that is helping us grow our businesses, because relatively, I think Pakistan Textile or Pakistan Exports in the value-added sector is far more competitive than our neighboring countries. So I think that is added, because when the times are difficult, you try to be more efficient. Research and development has been the key as far as AlKaram is concerned for a very long time. Our reputation, even if you go to the United States and talk to retailers, they would feel that what new products we come up with or what innovations we do is far more than most of the, we are leaders from Pakistan as far as innovation is concerned, but even worldwide, we are known to have an innovative product. Some people take it as a cost. I take it that it's one of the keys of my business, and people come to us for that. And that's one of the driving forces of our business. So it does not add to the cost if you do it in the right manner. It drives more business. At the end of the day, you're just selling a bed sheet or a quilt cover, and how much more different you can do every day. So different type of yarns, different type of raw materials, different type of fibers, different type of weaves, finishes, different type of stitching. So every day you have to produce something new. When you come to domestic market, I remember before I split, and when we were one with the larger family, my father started a lot of domestic products like lawn, like lattas. This was initiated by my father in 1960s. So a lot of products which you see as the bread and butter of most of the textile companies was initiated by my elders or even my father. We started the lawn campaigns in 70s. They never used to be TV campaigns or magazine campaigns and all those things. I remember the first ad which my father produced for lawn was in 1978. being a large family organization, and we have been a large family organization forever, two rules which we are very, very clear about. One, discipline. So, and discipline is in a very pyramid way. So elders are elders, upar se niche aate hain in a pyramid manner. So I might do not agree with a decision, but if somebody at the top is taking that decision, I will agree with it no matter what. Number one. Number two, our roles are very defined. Everybody knows what they have to do. We don't step on each other's shoes. So everybody has to do what they are told or what their domain is, and it's very clear. I think this generation is far more smarter than our generation. Number one is the exposure. Around the world, I mean, because of digital age, I mean, the exposures have been very different. It's just that they have the ability to work or the grit to work or not. That's the only challenge when you see family businesses. As a parent or as a father, I have to ensure that this is there. I mean, the ability or the grit to work. I thought I was a little different because my grit was very different to कि नहीं मुझे यही करना है. So I don't find that grit for them to successfully do what we did, I did, or a couple of my cousins did, learning absolutely from the scratch and then coming up. So I have three kids. Two of my kids are, one is in UK, he's doing economics. One is in California, he's doing applied maths. All of the three have very different plans, but unfortunately they don't know that they'll be coming back and doing the same thing. So.
You have to tell them?
No, of course they know. We keep talking about it from time to time. And they keep saying, I mean, how boring it's going to be, or how their exposure is very different. I mean, they are not as keen as I was when I was 15 years of age. I mean, they both are in college now, but their exposure is far more than what my exposure was when I was their age. So they think they have a lot of alternatives, but sooner or later I think they'll come around. Does management invest in HR? We don't question ourselves. We just blame the HR for all this. कि यार बंदा नहीं मिल रहा हमें. लेकिन what have we done to train them or to bring them up? It was a problem with us as well. I mean, if we say about 7-8 years ago, and then we realized that to bring them up, we need to teach them as well. You see, change is something everybody is resistant to, and they resist. And but at times one has to see the bigger picture, and one has to see a little far from just tomorrow. And a lot of co-workers don't see that. But when you're trying to invest in them, also they would resist because it's related to change. So when HR is trying to do that, they would complain that you've given too many powers to HR and they are trying to do this and do that. But I think when results come in, people do realize that that was the right approach. Frankly speaking, AlKaram has been one of the pioneers as far as textiles is concerned, and especially from the domestic name what we have. But being a pioneer, we are also tagged that we are a brand for the older people. But people don't realize how over time we have changed, how our product has changed, and how we address the needs for today's buyer or the millennials or age bracket between 16 and 30. So that message is, I think, lacking at times. Our marketing team is doing a good job of turning that. What I think my strength is the ability to learn every day. And I think I'm very incomplete from a lot of perspectives. I don't see myself that I know it all. And I think that's, and that makes me learn because I'm ready to listen. I don't impose that, okay, I know it and you have to do it that way. I listen to people, I listen to my co-workers and my management. I look up to my dad, and I feel he's one of the most content, relaxed person, very unlike me. I want to grow, I want to just be doing this and this and more. He's far more relaxed in that, and he would say, take it easy. I mean, we don't need to do it all in one day. And because his take on a lot of things is far different from mine, because I'm far more aggressive in business and he is far more stable, so it always helps me balance the things when I seek his advice. I learned a lot of business from one of my uncles, and so when it comes to business, he's my mentor. What we need to do as business people, we have to sell our country. We don't have to sell our product. If you sell our country, everything else flows. Sadly, a lot of us, people from Pakistan, just to save their own skin, we will blame our country for a lot of things. You don't see a lot of other people from other countries like India or China, they would not do that. If somebody is coming down here, I mean, they are absolutely in shock because the perception, what they carry in their mind, and when they come down here, it's absolutely different. In Pakistan, if you think a businessman is big, there has to be some wrong story behind that. I think that mindset has to change. There are some very good businessmen in Pakistan who have come to this stage by doing hard work all their lives, and they have grown big. This is not the case if you look at India more than anywhere. We don't have to go far. I mean, look at the size of the business, the Ambanis and the Birlas. And the bigger the business are, the more opportunities they create for people, and they bring in more revenues for the government as well. There is nothing wrong to be big. Pakistan में अभी भी ये mindset है कि I mean, if the business is really large, and sadly it's not because of the wrong reasons, because there had been some corrupt business practices in the past which has led to that mindset as well. As far as this country is concerned, I think potentials are endless, and for some reason, I mean, a lot of people think, and I mean, I keep talking to all the business leaders around, and they feel that this business is far more competitive and there isn't much in it. But I'm still very excited about this business, and I think there is so much to grow and so much more to do. And day to day, it excites me, and this is what keeps me going.